Hi, I'm Erin Ferragonio,
I'm Vincent Ferragonio.
and I first came to the church probably almost 10 years ago. My mom, as a family, we came, but in 2020 was when I made the choice to make this my home.
Me too, yeah, 10 years ago is when I first came to the church, so 2014.
First and foremost, it is life-giving. You walk in and the energy is immediate. You feel it, you feel the joy, and it does appeal to the eye. I think visually everyone looked full of joy, and I loved the dark ambiance of the sanctuary, the music. I just thought it was full of life.
Well, I'm a recovering Catholic, so I like the fact that I didn't have to stand up and kneel every 3 minutes, but other than that, really just super joy-filled, peace-filled, and you could really sense the Spirit of God.
I grew up in the church. I feel like this is a lot of people's story, but I grew up in the church, and I think it just taught me what it means to get to know Jesus in a personal way. I had never experienced that before, and as someone who's artistic and loves music and movement, Pastor Amy once said our church has a special anointing for performance. And I think seeing a church that implements all these things you see in the world, but it's all geared to create this environment for people to experience Jesus, it was just the first time that I got to experience that.
You know, God has done, every good thing in my life has come from God, and I really believe that He's done it through Grace Life. I really attribute so much of everything good in my life to this church, and I'm truly eternally grateful for that. I met my wife here. I've built a community and relationships here that will go on for my entire life. And I broke generational curses here. I've grown here. And I really believe that I am the person that I am today because I'm planted at this church, because I've stayed put, and because I'm growing here. I believe that I'm able to operate at my full capacity as a person, as a believer, as a husband, as a man. And like I said, I really can't, and this is genuine, I can't articulate enough what this church has done for me and my family, and I'm just so grateful to be here.
Being planted at a church helped me find my confidence because I started to understand who Erin is through Christ. And so really that impacted people around me because I was really able to operate unfiltered, the full light of Christ when I walk into a room. And so people started to see that in my life and ask, where do you go to church? What's going on? And I can't wait until I can say I've brought more friends to church, but the few that I have brought, Jesus lives in their heart. And I think that's the biggest testimony. I got baptized with two people that originally came to the church with me, and that's, you know, something you'll never forget. So I think it just impacted people around me because I was able to walk and be the light and bring up a room and be positive in a world that's negative and be encouraging in a world that's not encouraging. So it just helped me find my identity, which is always a journey. But I can say that I started that journey when I decided to be planted here.
Yeah, so Jeff Wagner actually brought me to church a little over 10 years ago. We were at a 4th of July party, and he was telling me about Grace Life, and I came with him the next week, and that was at, sometime in July. That October, I gave my life to the Lord, and Jeff really poured into me for years, and that really helped me. But, ultimately, Pastor Buck has been, easily the greatest influence on my life and has helped me dramatically. And he's been a great father for me, spiritual father, and I'm grateful for that. And I've seen him have that relationship with countless people, and I know I wouldn't be here without his influence and his direction, his love for me. And for that, I'll always be grateful. So through the years, dozens of friends have come to this church with me, and family members, and a few in particular now that probably a lot of you know, but Alec and Russell, Even my mom was always a great woman, a great Christian. But when she started being planted at Grace Life, everything changed in her life. She began to experience more peace than ever, more assurance than ever, more security than ever. And what's really interesting about what I'm seeing in my friends and family is they truly come from a place of confusion and uncertainty in life, and just kind of going through the motions and not even really knowing it, to truly a life of purpose. And Alec, who I'm going to be his best man, he's getting married. He found his wife here at church, just like I did. And his life has completely changed in the last 2 years. And although he was always a really good person, he was an atheist. He didn't believe. And now he believes, and his family's even changing. And what's in me is beginning to multiply in them. And now they're multiplying it into their friends and into their families. And Russ is extremely successful now with his TikTok and sales. And that happened when he started to be planted at church. That happened when he started to believe in God. And I see these great things happening with people around me that I simply just asked to come to church. And so I encourage you, with your friends and with your family and with your sphere of influence, now that we go to this next level at the DoubleTree, and God is going to expand our influence and expand our tent, I encourage you to ask your friends, ask your family to come to church with you. I asked Russ for 5 years to come to church, probably 100 times, and he finally came, and his whole life has changed because of it. Not because of what I did, but because of what God did. And I encourage you, there is going to be an anointing on your invite when we move to the DoubleTree, because more people are going to come to this church. And I believe that it's going to affect change in thousands of people. It's going to be your friends and your family included. And I know that there's people in my life that I've been believing for 10 years. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that their lives are going to be changed because we decided to move to the DoubleTree. And now we have room for them too. Because I don't want to see anyone in Monroeville or Pittsburgh go to hell, and neither do our pastors. And we reached a peak at our old building of seating people and having them be able to come to church. And that's what this move means to me. That's what the DoubleTree means to me, is that we're going to be able to fit more people in the church to help them in every area of their life, to get saved, to be delivered, to be set free, and to really walk in all that God has for you. Because I believe that I am, and we are as a couple, and I attribute that to this church. And I know that when more people can become planted, that can happen for them as well. And I've had dozens, probably 20, 30 at least, friends and family come to Grace Life throughout the years. And I know that all of them are saved. Not all of them come to church here. Some go elsewhere, which is great. But I know that they're saved, and it's because I had a church for them to come to hear the word in an environment that's contagious, that's filled with the joy of the Lord, that's filled with His peace and His presence, that's able to break bondages and destroy yokes. And I believe that's what this church is it's a hospital for the hurting, and it's a place where people can come to be healed and delivered and truly walk into all that God has for them.
And if I can just add, my senior prom was in this very room. And I think it's amazing because you can't miss this building. You can't pass it and not see that Grace Life Church is here. So I can't wait for people that I went to school with to say, you're having church in the same room that we had our senior prom. And like he said, that's why we moved. We need more room for the lost. And I can't wait to see my senior classmates that I graduated with in this building, hopefully.